Cristiano Ronaldo is the highest paid footballer of all time.
Cristiano Ronaldo,
the best paid player in the world,
has made a sensational return.
£25 million a year.
200 million euros a year.
Worth more than $400 million.
In fact, on an inflation-adjusted basis, Cristiano is one of the highest paid athletes in the history of sport. According to Sportico, the top three looks like this: MJ, Tiger, and this guy.
Ronaldo, it is Ronaldo! Ronaldo! Just no stopping him. He is the bully of the big boys, fearful of no one, better than almost everyone.
His career earnings sits at around $2.5 billion. That puts him third all time and ahead of almost every other athlete you can think of. Not just footballers, everyone. But here is where it gets interesting, because most athletes on that list built the bulk of their wealth after they retired. Michael Jordan, Jack Nicklaus, Roger Federer, the real money came later. Then you've got the second group, athletes who maximized earnings whilst they were still playing. Floyd, the GOAT, LeBron James, the GOAT, and of course, Cristiano Ronaldo. And Cristiano took that model and pushed it further than anyone we've ever seen. This is the latest video in my series breaking down the empires of some incredible athletes. Previously, we've had LeBron James himself, we've had Anthony Joshua, Sir Lewis Hamilton, Sir David Beckham, but this one is my most requested video of all time. I'm Jordan, and I'm on a mission to make passionate sports fans like you just 1% more informed. Today we're breaking down how Cristiano Ronaldo has built $1 billion business empire. And to understand how he did it, you have to start with the engine that funded everything. Before the brands, before the investments, before the CR7 empire, there was one thing that made all of this possible: his monstrous earnings. Yes, Cristiano Ronaldo has built one of the largest cash flow engines we have ever seen in all of sport. When Ronaldo arrived at United in 2003, he was not a global brand yet. He was just pure potential. I remember that FA Cup final against Millwall. He was doing a lot in that game, skilling people up, running down the wing. It was raw talent. And in that time, he really began to blossom. In fact, it's this jersey that amplifies this more than any other. When I think of this kit, I think of that classic Arsenal United game. Keane Vieira in the tunnel, the John O'Shea chip. Ronaldo scored 2 in that game. The first, left foot, far corner. He went up to the crowd. The talent he had in that era was insane. And that same talent allowed his income to scale in a way no athlete ever has. When he signed for Real Madrid in 2009, he signed a deal worth roughly 13 million euros net per year, immediately placing him as one of the highest paid athletes in the world. It's weird, in the UK we quote salaries in gross terms per week. In Spain, they quote net terms per year. 30 million euros net in 2009 is approximately £390,000 a week for the British folk of you watching. That would be one of the highest paid players in the world today, but this was back in 2009. The crazy thing is he had 2 contract extensions at Real Madrid. In 2013, C-Ron signs a deal at Real Madrid, taking his salary from 13 million net to 17 million euros net per year. It's a similar structure, but a pretty significant difference on the scale. Again, by comparison, that is £505,000 a week for the British ones of you watching. Not bad. This is the era of the iconic pink Real Madrid kit. Shout out Cult Kids. They reached out seeing how often I display these jerseys in my videos and came through with the greatness. If you want to find a place to buy any of these iconic jerseys, classic ones or new ones ahead of the World Cup, the link is in the description. And I'm gonna leave these 2 here as they really signify the greatness of the man we're talking about today. Because shortly after that season, in 2016, he does it again. Ronaldo signed another extension at Real Madrid, this time worth 21 million euros net per year. Again, that's roughly £620,000 a week in gross terms. Mental. The Real Madrid era for Ronaldo was very lucrative, on the pitch as well as off the pitch. But in 2018, Cristiano Ronaldo made one of the most interesting moves of his career. He left Real Madrid and joined Juve. On the surface, I remember this time many thought that it felt like a step down in a footballing sense. His reported salary also dropped as well. But at the same time, Italy had just introduced a new tax regime for high net worth individuals. It was a different tax structure called Decreto Riscita, or Growth Decree in English. where foreign income could be taxed at a lower fixed rate rather than the standard progressive rates for Italian nationals. What that meant in practice was that Ronaldo's global income, sponsorships rights, his salaries could be structured far more efficiently, which is a theme for the rest of the video, believe me. Ronaldo enjoyed a few seasons there at Juve. He came back home to Manchester before 2023 rolled around, where he made the final move of his career. I remember when this happened. Ronaldo joined Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia. There are two contracts to speak about here. Remember, he signed late in 2023 calendar year. So the first one was a 2.5-year deal worth 500 million euros. Yes, that is 200 million euros per annum. In the spirit of conversion for the British folk watching, that is 177 million pounds per year, or 500k per day. It's actually crazy to think about. Wiz Khalifa has a song where he says, "When I get paid, my checks be looking like phone numbers." It's one of my favorite Wiz songs. I always thought it was some dope rap line, that one, but Cristiano is really living that life. To put this into context, this was the wage bill of every single Premier League club in the 2023-2024 season. Ronaldo by himself in Saudi Arabia was making more money than the entire Chelsea squad. Insane. But he then got a re-up, another extension, 2025 to 2027, 40 years old to 42 years old at similar numbers. There's also rumors that he has ownership in Al Nassr too. The crazy thing is, as you know, in Saudi Arabia, there is no income tax. So when you put all of this money together, it's bonkers how much money he's making in earnings. But salary is only ever one part of the story for these guys, because alongside these contracts, Ronaldo was building something else. A pretty insane endorsement roster. Everything starts with Nike. Ronaldo signs his first deal back in 2003 with Nike as a teenager at Man United. In this era. At that time, again, he's just another promising athlete with a lot of potential. But as his career scaled, that relationship with Nike scaled too. He becomes the face of the Mercurial line, fronting major campaigns year after year. And then in 2016, Nike made a decision that very few brands ever make. They gave Ronaldo a lifetime deal, reportedly to be worth around $1 billion in total value over the length of the relationship. Around Nike, Ronaldo built a portfolio of long-term high-value partnerships. Herbalife is one of the biggest. He partnered with them in 2013 in a multi-year deal worth reportedly $10 million a year. They launched CR7 Drive, which was a co-branded sports drink designed around his personal performance. And then beneath those were a slew of other companies that he partnered with. Clear, Armani, Castrol, PokerStars, Binance, Altice. I mean, there are loads. Absolutely loads. Individually, these deals range anywhere from $1 million a year to $10 million a year in value. Based on some of the numbers that we've discussed so far, that doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a lot of money for these individual campaigns because his distribution is insane. At the time of recording this, this is the list of the most followed people on Instagram. Justin Bieber's at 10, Chloe is at 9, Beyonce is at 8, Kim, Ariana, and Rock take us from 7 to 5. Kylie is at 4, Selena is at 3, Leo is at 2. But of course, number 1 is Cristiano. No, but seriously, look at the delta between 1 and 2. If you're getting C-Ron to do an IG post, think of the reach that you're getting. That is why he's getting so much for these campaigns. And that's also what makes the next move so interesting. In 2015, Singaporean billionaire Peter Lim, through his vehicle Mint Media, acquired a significant stake in Ronaldo's image rights. The reported figure at the time, I tried to look for this, was around 80 million euros for a percentage of those rights. Managing Ronaldo's commercial footprint means negotiating deals across dozens of countries, navigating different tax systems in each continent, licensing agreements, media channels, everything. But by bringing in Lim, Ronaldo effectively found a partner whose entire job it was to scale that part of his empire globally. Lim already had experience in sport and media. He owned stakes in Valencia Football Club and other commercial networks across Asia. Through Lim, Ronaldo's commercial presence in Asia accelerated significantly, particularly in China and Southeast Asia. And that's why his Instagram numbers are so strong, and that's why he is truly a global force wherever he goes. You start to see this in partnerships that are very region-specific, like with deals for Shopee, where he fronted their e-commerce platform, and he also did some advertising campaigns for Altice in Asia too. It's a pretty classic trade-off. I'll take less control and give away a slice of the cake, but partner with people who can make the cake bigger. If you remember, David Beckham did something very similar with Authentic Brands Group in the Beckham episode that I produced a few months ago. With all of these deals, and all of those wages, Ronaldo has built two incredibly powerful things. The first is a machine that generates cash, and then the second, and maybe more importantly, is a system that scales it globally. So now that we've covered his earnings and the money coming in, the real power is ownership and the money he invests out, because that's exactly what Ronaldo starts doing next. Ronaldo's investment empire is massive, and the easiest way to understand it is to break it into four parts. First, his lifestyle businesses, the things that you can see, touch, and experience. The second is his performance ventures. These are high margin businesses built around health and, I guess, repeat recurring revenue. The third is his media plays, where he takes control of his distribution. And finally, his future bets, where he's investing in the tech. We're gonna get through all four of them. And whilst we go through these, I've got two jerseys here behind me. This one is from my favorite Man United era. It's almost where the foundations are being laid in his life. And this one is from his Real Madrid era, where he was just going crazy. These two jerseys almost represent parts of his investment empire to me as well. This one for the first two categories, and this one for the second two categories. So stay with me as I take you through these four chapters of his investment empire. Category 1, the lifestyle businesses. The biggest example is the Pestana CR7 Hotel Group. It's a joint venture between Cristiano Ronaldo and the Pestana Group themselves. The partnership was officially formed in December 2015, with the first hotel opening in Funchal in 2016. Pestana aren't small. It's Portugal's largest hotel group. Founded in the 70s, they have over 100 hotels, over 12,000 rooms, and have 3.5 million guests per year plus. The commonly reported structure is that Ronaldo and Pestana operate this as a JV, a joint venture. Ronaldo is the front, the brand, the face, and Pestana continue operating the hotels themselves. I looked everywhere for the exact split, but I couldn't find it. But I did have a look at the Pestana Hotel in London to see what he's working with. It's in Chelsea. It's very nice. Before hotels, Ronaldo starts with something much simpler. In 2013, he launched CR7 Underwear in partnership with Scandinavian manufacturers JBS Textile Group. This is a classic licensing model. I always found these CR7 underwear ads hilarious. Those shots in Speedo-esque pants, they're funny to me. But who am I to tell that man what to do? It scaled globally. They sold millions of units across Europe, online and in multiple international markets. Again, there are no publicly audited figures that show the split that he has with JBS. So I don't know how successful it is for him, but we do know the structure. Ronaldo owns the brand and his partners handle the distribution, and he takes a cut on every single unit sold globally. In a similar vein, we have the CR7 fragrances too. They were produced and distributed by Eden Parfums. That's a British company that specializes in celebrity fragrance lines. Again, Ronaldo isn't building factories and managing the distribution around the world. He's the face. But the range launched in 2015 with Cristiano Ronaldo Legacy, followed by multiple releases. CR7 Play It Cool, CR7 Origins, there's loads. Exact splits are unknown, but again, this is a common structure. Ronaldo's the face, all of these incredible shots and campaigns, and he takes a cut of every single unit. Finally, to round out category 1, you're seeing a theme here. Ronaldo partnered with Crunch Fitness to launch CR7 Fitness by Crunch in 2016, starting with a flagship opening in Madrid. There are now units in Aveiro, Badajoz, Corazon de Maria, Gandia, Jaén, Maria de Molina, Matosinhos, Padral, Prelada, Rivas, Valencia, and of course, the capital is coming soon. CR7 Fitness by Crunch is a series of gyms, as you can probably imagine, with many units now sprouting up across Spain and Portugal. I mean, when you're showing off your physique so much, it kind of makes sense. So this rounds out category 1. Hotels, underwear, fragrances, fitness, different industries, but similar structure. He's sitting at the top of the stack, owning the brand and plugging in operators who already have the infrastructure. That's what licensing is at this level, and the top players do it all the time. Now, category 2 is where things start to shift. Up until now, everything has been brand-led. Ronaldo attaches his name, partners handle the operation, he takes a cut. Cool. But this next part is different, because this is where he starts to move into businesses with much stronger economics. These are what I'd call his performance ventures, businesses built around health, longevity, and repeat demand. The best example of this is Inspiria. This is a chain of hair transplant clinics co-founded by Ronaldo in 2019 alongside Spanish entrepreneur Paulo Ramos. Ronaldo reportedly owns 50% of this business. Transplant clinics are fascinating businesses. Hair transplants are high in demand, especially for men. I've had one. The company has publicly stated it has performed tens of thousands of procedures and operates clinics across Portugal, Spain, and Italy with ongoing international expansion. Even at conservative assumptions, hair transplants cost anywhere between 2,000 and 10,000 euros each, depending on how bad your lid is. You're looking at a business with tens of millions in revenue, with strong margins typical of private healthcare, and Ronaldo owns half of one. The deals I like, though, are these. Ronaldo was an early backer of Bionic, a personalized nutrition business. In 2026, yes, recently, Bionic was acquired by Ronaldo's longtime friends Herbalife, back again, for $150 million. So Ronaldo has an exit on his CV already. The deal was interesting because the press release was very detailed. In fact, on the website, it said $55 million in purchase price will be paid over 5 years, including an additional payment of $10 million at closing. In addition, the transaction value includes up to $95 million of contingent payments based on future performance. Now, we don't know exactly how much Ronaldo's stake was or what his return was, but upon closing, he said, "I'm delighted to see Bionic's personalized supplements become part of Herbalife's expanding access to nutritional supplements, helping people take a more informed approach to their health, wellness, and performance." It's very cute, Cristiano. And a nice result for you and the Bionic team. Now, still in category 2, the next one is one of the more interesting deals in the Ronaldo portfolio. Vista Alegre was founded in 1824, and today it sits inside the Visabera Group as one of Portugal's flagship luxury brands. They produce high-end porcelain. Yes, crystal, tableware, things used in 5-star hotels, fine dining restaurants, and premium retail stores. In 2025, Cristiano Ronaldo acquired a minority stake of 10% in the company through his company, CR7 SA. Yeah, not a licensing deal like before, a straight investment. Porcelain. Crazy. But yes, Ronaldo owns 10% of the company, and the company is 200 years old. Fair. Shortly after, he acquired a 30% stake in Vista Alegre in Spain. As part of the agreement, both parties also set up a 50-50 joint venture focused on the Middle East and Asia expansion, designed to basically take Vista Alegre and Bordalo Pinheiro brands into high-growth, international, affluent Middle Eastern markets. I had no idea Ronaldo owned a porcelain company. I didn't expect it, but my research on him has taken me to wonderful places. It's a massive business, deep in history, and I guess has incredible growth potential across the Middle East. So, fair play to Ronaldo. Where things get very logical though, is category 3. So far, we have a list of investments which I'd suggest is diverse, let's put it that way. Hotels, underwear, hair transplants, supplements, porcelain. On the surface, it looks chaotic, but category 3 is far more aligned with what you'd expect. Through a consortium called Expressal Livre, backed by Peter Lim, yes, Peter Lim is back, Ronaldo was part of a group that acquired the media assets of Cofina, one of Portugal's largest media companies. Those assets were then spun out and rebranded as Media Livre. Media Livre includes newspapers, TV channels, digital platforms, generating close to 100 million euros a year in revenue. This business has Correia da Manhã, the country's biggest newspaper, Record, a major sports publication, and CMTV, a leading TV channel. Again, you might ask, why would Cristiano Ronaldo buy into a media business? He's not a journalist. He's not a broadcaster. He's not building Netflix. But when you look at everything that we've discussed so far in his investment empire, it starts to make a lot of sense. A lot of Ronaldo's empire relies on attention. Hotels need customers, products need buyers, clinics need patients. His whole life now involves people seeing him, following him, and ultimately buying his products. Media companies sit one layer above that. As a media owner, you can control the narrative and the awareness of your products. And if we're talking about media, buying into a media company is one thing, but building your own is even better. And boy, did he do that. Yes, Ronaldo launched You Are Cristiano and shut YouTube down in the process. This is a fully built media operation, created in partnership with Densu Creative, specifically their Iberia team across Spain and Portugal. They handled the entire execution, the content strategy, production, brand partnerships, data, everything. And the scale of the launch was ridiculous. I can't lie. I think what we've built here at TLP is amazing. We are now at 150,000 subscribers in 2 years. Thank you, by the way. Ronaldo's channel though, hit 1 million subscribers in 90 minutes. After 24 hours, he had hit 19 million subscribers, which set a Guinness World Record and is still there now. Within a month, it had scaled to 64 million subscribers and over 500 million views. That is distribution at a level almost no one else has. And this is the key. All of this distribution means he no longer needs Nike or broadcasters. He can go direct. He invested in Cofina and built his own narrative channels, and he built his YouTube channel so he can go direct to you and I. He is the media now. So with that in mind, let's talk about category 4, his tech bets. There are 2 in particular. In May 2024, Will Ahmed, CEO of Whoop, announced the latest partner. They launched the CR7 Whoop band at the same time. Ronaldo is an investor in Whoop, along with many other athletes, and he definitely participated in the funding round for the business where Whoop was valued at $10.1 billion. But I suspect Ronaldo invested prior to this too, probably at the time the partnership was announced in May 2024, maybe an earlier funding round or two. Whoop is a business which continues to go from strength to strength. I sense an IPO soon, and several athletes, as well as Ronaldo, will benefit greatly from being an investor when they do. The second is Perplexity. In December 2025, Perplexity announced a global partnership with Ronaldo, confirming that he had become an investor and a strategic partner in the business. As part of the partnership, they launched a Perplexity CR7 hub, an interactive product built directly into the platform, using Ronaldo's career, his data, and his content to drive engagement. Perplexity is one of the AI monsters currently being built in the world. At the end of 2025, the valuation was at $20 billion, and they had some pretty significant investors, one of which being Lewis Hamilton as well. We don't know how much Ronaldo invested, we don't know what percentage he owns, or at what valuation he got in at, but C-Ron is a participator in the AI boom we are currently seeing. What a haul of investments. And trust me, we're far from over. But this journey, as lucrative as it sounds, it hasn't always been smooth. When you operate at this level, when your income, your brand, your business interests span multiple countries, multiple industries, and billions of dollars, things get complicated. And sometimes they go wrong. Before I get into where it went wrong for Ronaldo, thank you. This platform has continued to grow. We've won awards, the subscriber number keeps going up, and now we're building new formats. If you've ever liked, shared, commented, or watched one of my videos, I really appreciate you. My mission to bring the business of sport to 1 million people is continuing, and it can continue with your help. If you're one of those people, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps me out more than you think. I'm determined to carry on bringing these insights to as many people as possible, so signaling your intent to follow goes a long way to help me do that. Now, back to Ronaldo, because there's loads more. Back in Spain, in this era, Ronaldo and a lot of other players in La Liga were being investigated about how the income from his image rights was structured. In 2019, he reached a settlement with Spanish authorities worth $18.8 million alongside a suspended prison sentence. Damn. More recently, he's also been named in a lawsuit linked to his promotion of Binance, which again shows the other side of building an empire like this. And that investigation into his image rights is deep, and I've looked into it for you. I write about these things all the time on my Substack, and paid Substack members get more. I've done a full breakdown on the investigation into his image rights, the scandal that rocked La Liga, Ronaldo, and several other key players, and also some of the tax optimization Ronaldo has done by moving to Juve and Saudi Arabia along his career. If you're this far in the video, you're a nerd like me. You probably like the written side of things, and you probably like the extra content. Click the link in my description or scan the QR code that's on screen now to go to my Substack. There, you get extra content like this, and of course, every episode of the Saudi series, where Ronaldo features very prominently, as I'm sure you can imagine. For a sneak peek of that video, see here. Between 2011 and 2014, the allegation was that income generated from his image rights had been routed through offshore companies rather than being fully declared and taxed in Spain. And this is where it gets nuanced, because image rights structures are not illegal. In fact, they're widely used across football. Clubs pay a part of players' compensation through image rights, and those rights are often held in separate companies. The problem though comes to where that income is booked. Yeah, click the link in the description. Now, I think Ronaldo has completely redefined what it means to be an elite athlete. For me, it's not just the numbers, it's not just the money, it's the moments. I still remember that header against Roma. It's my favorite Ronaldo goal in a United shirt. He came from nowhere. He wasn't even in the shot, and he rose above everyone and headed the ball in and basically knocked himself out doing it. It's not his most glamorous goal, but it captures everything about him for me, especially in that era of his playing career. It's almost like the LeBron James block. It's not the most statistically impressive play or the most glamorous, but it defines who he is as an athlete. And then there's another one, random one, personal to me, that I just always love. Real Madrid, it was a red kit, outside the box, no one came around him, against Seville, top bins, he hit this celebration. That era of Ronaldo was different. I think we often forget how good Ronaldo was in that era. He normalized unbelievable performances. And this is the thing, every single phase of his career, he's evolved. Even towards the end of his career, he went back to Man United and was calling out my club for standing still, not progressing, not improving. And then at 40, he's still chasing 1,000 goals in his career publicly. He's still going to World Cups. He's still pushing. And that's what stands out to me more than anything. The man just doesn't stop. So when you look at everything we've covered today, the contracts, the endorsements, the businesses, the investments, it's the same mindset. relentless improvement. This empire didn't happen by accident. It's a reflection of who he is. And honestly, after going so deep into this, I have no doubt he is going to be just as successful in business as he was on the pitch. Shout out Cristiano. Not just one of the greatest athletes of all time, but one of the most complete operators the sport has ever seen. I recently asked one of his teammates this question. Imagine every single athlete in the world right now, young or old, is a publicly traded stock, and you can buy stock in that athlete, but you can only invest in one. Which one would you invest in?
It's got to be Cristiano, isn't it? The guy just makes money.
The answer was clear. Yes, we're loading here on TLP, and I want you to come with me. Shout out to Colt Kits. You can get fire jerseys like this by clicking my link in the description. This right here is a video on how footballers get paid. And this right here is even more greatness from athletes. I'm Jordan. I've loved this one. Thank you for watching.